What's up, Honors? Today we're going to be ranking all of Home Depot Canada's 2024 Halloween animatronics from worst to best, so let's get started. At the end of the list at number 13, we've got Dracula Jack. So Jack here, for what he is, he's an alright animatronic. I think the idea of making him a vampire is pretty cool. I do hate a little bit how they removed the mouth movement, but I know it was a bit faulty and it was a bit annoying, his mouth movement, so I understand why they removed it. But the reason I'm putting him in last place is just because it's such an unnecessary animatronic, I'd say, because a couple years ago, they already had the other Gemmy version of Jack Skellington that they sold all the way up until last year, I believe. And there's also the massive 13-foot version of him, which is only double the price, and it's just so much better than this guy. So overall, it's just a very unnecessary animatronic and just an all-right one. So that's why I'm putting him at the end of the list at number 14. And next up here at number 12, we've got the Hovern Witch reskin. So this animatronic here is nothing too crazy. It's basically the same Hovern Witch we've seen before, but her clothing is exchanged for this more black color scheme rather than purple. Now, I do really love the black color scheme way more than the purple one. I think it looks a lot better, but still the Hovern Witch is one of my lesser favorite 12-foot animatronics that Home Depot's ever sold, and even though it's an all-right prop, I just think there's a lot better this year. I do still kind of like this animatronic because they took the idea of the 12-foot animatronic, but they kind of made it different because instead of the typical form of the 12-foot animatronic, where it's just this massive stand creature, they instead gave it this massive broom which is attached to the ground and the witch is kind of hovering there, which is a really cool concept. It looks alright and everything, but for this year, it's not the best thing we're getting, so it's at number 12 on my list. And at number 11, we've got another witch. This one, of course, is the animated witch. So this witch here, don't get me wrong, it's a cool animatronic and all, but why I have it so far back on the list is just because there's nothing too crazy about it. It's just pretty generic. Now, I do think the audio and animation on this thing is good, and I guess the look of it's alright, but it's just nothing too special, so that's why it's at number 11. And now as we get into the top 10 from Home Depot Canada for this year, we've got the Soul Sitter. Now, this animatronic, of course, isn't new to the US this year, but of course, it's the first time that we're seeing it here in Canada. So this animatronic is a pretty good one for them to finally bring to Canada. I like the look of it and everything. It's pretty good. It kind of gives me Sam vibes from Trickster Trio with that head and everything. Its audio could be a bit better, and its design is like alright. I think they could have made it a little bit different. But for a cheaper animatronic, only $200, it's not too bad, and it's cool to see this now in Canada. And at number 9, we've got a new companion for the 12-foot skeleton. This guy here is the Skeleton Dog. Now, this animatronic is probably not one I would personally get, but if you already have a 12-foot skeleton, this is an awesome animatronic to go along with it. I think the design of this is cool. I like the big bony ears on it, and the head and everything looks good, and then overall just the rest of its body also looks great in skeleton form. It also has those new digi eyes with the 8 different functions, which is really awesome, so lots of customizability for this, and it looks so good with the 12-foot skeleton, so overall, pretty good animatronic. And at number 8, we've got another 12-foot animatronic, which is actually one of 6 12-footers they're going to be selling at Home Depot this year, which is crazy. This guy, of course, is the Inferno Deadwood. So Deadwood here is a new version of the Inferno pumpkin from Home Depot. They reused a bit of the similar sculpt for it, but they made it a bit better. Like that rib cage, I love what they did with it, and the new head design looks awesome. I think it's cool how instead of him being like this pumpkin guy, instead of this tree, overall, it's really awesome. I really wish they would have gave him some sort of animation because so many 12-foot animatronics out there don't have animation, so it would have been awesome if they were to have given this guy some animation. But overall, he's still a really cool prop, and I cannot wait to see this guy in person. And at number 7 on the list, we've got another 12-foot animatronic. This guy is the new Smolder Reaper. So the Smolder Reaper here, I've got to say, this guy's probably my favorite 12-foot animatronic of all time. I don't think there's anything out there that I like more than this guy. I love the look of him. They took the Reaper design, but I like how they kind of changed it a bit its own way to make this creepier looking Reaper. And there's like big scythe there. I think it's cool. It could have been a bit smaller, or they could have made the animatronic itself a bit bigger. But still, he does look really cool. It's also awesome how he has the head movement and everything. Overall, this guy is an awesome 12-foot animatronic. 6. And at number 6, we've got another animatronic, which isn't new this year to the US, but it's new to Canada. This one, of course, is Lethal Lily. Lethal Lily is definitely one of my favorite witch animatronics of all time. It just has so much more of an original look, which I love, and it has those servos in the head, which gives it this lifelike face movement, which I'm a huge fan of. Its audio is also pretty good. I like how it has the basket in the one hand there with the frog and the potion and everything. And like I mentioned, just the look of it, it's just so much more original. So overall, this animatronic is such a cool one, and I'm happy placing it at number 6 on my list. 5. And now as we enter the top 5, my 5th most favorite animatronic from Home Depot this year is the new Frankensteins Monster. So Frankensteins Monster here is such a cool animatronic. It's again another one of those animatronics with the servo functions, which, like I mentioned, I'm a huge fan of the servo functions. It really makes his face just come to life, which I love. He also has that arm movement there, which also just adds to the character. And the clothing choice and everything for him too is also pretty awesome. Overall, everything about him just makes him a really good animatronic, and this guy's another one which I just can't wait to see in person, especially with just how cool he looks on the videos. 4. And at number 4, we got the third and final animatronic that's joining the Canadian lineup from a past Home Depot lineup. This guy, of course, is Dean the Deathologist. So Dean here is this skeleton bartender, and I really love his feature where it looks like he's actually pouring the wine into the glass. It uses this like nice tube effect with the lights and everything. It looks great. And then he also has mouth and head movement, which is also a great feature. His audio is great, and the look of him is also great. I love the clothing they chose for him. I like how for the skeleton head, they kind of changed it up a bit by giving him hair and a mustache, which makes him this more original looking skeleton, which I love. So Dean here is just so awesome and definitely deserves to be number 4 on the list. 3. And number 3, we got a trio of some new creepy clowns. This, of course, is the Trickster Trio. So the Trickster Trio here definitely has to be one of the best clown props we've ever gotten. Like, just look at this. I love the look of each of the individual clowns. They each have their own little unique look, and the one guy there is the hammer with the arm, which is anime, which is really cool. I love how these animatronics, you can pose them different ways, either having them all 3 stacked up on top of each other, or having them all displayed individually. It's very cool. And they all talk in between themselves, which is really cool. I love when animatronics have that feature where they talk just between each other. So overall, great clown prop, and I would love to have this for the haunt. 2. And at number 2 on the list is another really awesome skeleton. We've got Jack of Spades. So Jack of Spades here, I am a massive fan of. I love kind of like the vibe he gives off with the look and everything. I also love the animation on this guy. He has the mouth and head movement, but then also has the arm movement to make him look like he's actually drinking the drink, which is awesome. You can also either have him standing or sitting, which is really cool. That this guy's another one with that customizability. And I like how on the one hand he's holding a deck of cards and the other has his drink and cigar and everything. Overall, this guy, a lot of detail, and he's a pretty good prop for only $230. This guy is definitely one that I might have to pick up this year. 1. And now moving on to my most favorite animatronic of the year from Home Depot, we've got the Plague Doctor. Plague Doctor here, I really love everything about him. The light up feature is cool with the eyes, and then that like rope thing that goes all around his hat and arms and everything. It overall lights him up really nicely, which is cool. He's also got several different animations like head animation, body animation, arm animation, and a cool jump scare sort of thing with the staff there, which is cool. He also has some really good audio, stands nearly 7.5 feet tall, and of course he's also outdoor rated, and he looks overall really high quality. Overall, he's just such a big and cool animatronic, and for only $280, he's a great one. Definitely another one that I might have to get this year. Anyways, that is it for today's list. Hopefully you all enjoyed checking out all these awesome animatronics. Honestly, if I am to get any of the Home Depot stuff this year, it'd either be Plague Doctor or Jack of Spades. Honestly, I'll have to see them in person first. Maybe I'll change my mind which ones I want to get, but these two definitely going to be on my list, and maybe they'll be in my haunt this year. And of course, with all that, that's it for today. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.